this is not investment advice, this is not financial advice, this is just what I would personally do. So if we're literally playing a game and there's only two things that I can play with, and that is Bitcoin and ETH, well, first of all, you need to get very comfortable with looking at the ETH Bitcoin chart. So the ETH Bitcoin chart is this one, and this is my personal sort of barometer or indicator of when the alt season starts and when it doesn't. So there are a lot of lines here, so let's just get rid of some of these lines. I'm going to leave some of the doodles though, because the doodles I drew a long time ago, and at the time I remember an old RT member who's not here anymore going, Siam, I think the exact words were, Siam, you're so full of shit, those holes will never hit. I remember that because it rhymed. Siam, you're so full of shit because those holes will never hit. And so I just for pure joy, I've just left these very rough doodles. So first of all, so this smaller hole was a more recent one, but it was these two big holes that I drew. This first hole well and truly got destroyed, and we are now tracking nicely down to this one here, and this is the outlandish one, because this shows that Bitcoin grows massively against ETH in general, and therefore all of the alts. But in previous trading pubs, we've gone through this in depth, and this shows that if Bitcoin were to do what it normally does and hits its normal sort of 60 to 65% market share, like it has done before. I mean, it's gone a lot higher before. In the last bull market, it hit, or in the early stages of the last bull market, it hit 73%, and before that, it hit around 70-ish. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a lot less because there's thousands more crypto out there than before. So my estimation is that Bitcoin rallies to 60-65% market share and then starts dropping. Now when Bitcoin starts dropping, that means ETH is now starting to put its running shoes on compared to Bitcoin, and therefore alt season starts. So Yinon, if you're playing this game of really it's the ETH to Bitcoin seesaw, you need to get used to that chart. And if I was playing that game, I would most likely wait until Bitcoin gets a little bit higher. Again, this hole got hit, and it's, I know, drawn green. Yeah, the bar is literally at the top of this circle now. So yeah, just give it a bit of time. So Bitcoin now, and yeah, then wait. And by the way, I think ETH will be more reactive in price movements when the ETH spot ETFs are launched, because a lot of these companies like BlackRock and Vanguard, Fidelity, etc., yes, they're launching Bitcoin ETFs, but they are also launching ETH ETFs. So I mean, ETH is a much smaller market, so yeah, I think we could see some pretty explosive things in ETH, although I think ETH is archaic in tech, just because it is, it's got the critical threshold already hit, and there's just too many people, too much money in it. It'll still grow. So I think ETH is going to do very well, and the tokenomics, to be fair, are excellent. I genuinely believe ETH has probably one of the best tokenomics on the planet right now. Personally, I think Casper is better, but ETH, I think, well, actually, technically, ETH is better than Casper in tokenomics because it really is a deflationary coin now, whereas Casper is not inflationary, it's disinflationary because it inflates at a slower rate than everything else. So yeah, Bitcoin now, and then flop over into ETH when this starts falling, or when you think we're around 60% or 65. Now, the next tip for this is try and make your rules mechanical. So you can either say, and this is where I can't help you, I can give you a broad spectrum of things to look at, but I cannot say get in here this time. You could say to yourself, right, at 60%, the moment this chart hits 60%, I'm going to flop over into ETH, or 65%. But to be a bit more precise, instead of just, at the second it hits that, you could probably say, right, at 60%, I'm going to be alerted to it. So let's say price goes up, hits it. You'll let it run just in case it, because some, like before, they can be quite fast. You could say, right, you'll let it retrace a bit. If it then continues going up higher, great. You're going to let it run, but actually no. I'm going to cap all of this off and say, look, when this chart starts showing topping signs, then flop over. And when I say by topping signs, it could be anything from a double top, head and shoulders, stuff like this. There will be necklines all over the place. So when you see some sort of topping pattern around this area, then maybe flip over. And then it's completely your call. What percentage do you flop over? Like, do you go from 100% Bitcoin now and then 100% Bitcoin, or do you only put 75% Bitcoin, ETH, and then 25? Personally, I would have more weight onto ETH than Bitcoin, because I'm in this. Yes, you want safety, but I think ETH is going to be as safe as Bitcoin really moving forwards. Well, a lot of Bitcoin maxis will probably explode at that comment. But yeah, I can't. It's safe in the sense that ETH is not going away. I mean, there's freaking ETFs being launched for ETH, so it's here for a long time. Yinon says, how should I plan my entries for Bitcoin and ETH at this point in time? Hopefully I've covered that. Also, would you recommend planning the allocation between the two? It's your call, Personally, if I had to have both, I'd probably do.
Covered most of it brilliantly.
Thank you,
Siam.
Oh, cool.
I just want to make clear.
To make sure
I got it clear.
So
you're saying go in on Bitcoin now.
Yes.
Meaning don't wait for a better price. Is that what you meant?
So this is now dependent on how small a time frame you want to sort of allocate into this. So as I've already said on this chart of Bitcoin, I'm fully expecting a pullback down to at the very least 32,500. At the very least, but there is a big psychological area of support around 30k. So there's really two massive support levels, which one of them is definitely going to hit, in my opinion, 32,500, and this other one has a slightly. It's still highly probable it will hit, but not as. I mean, this level here is very high probability, in my opinion. But the issue in terms of executing a trade is, from what height is it going to start moving down? Is it going to move down from here into that level? Or is it going to go, so I'm going to prove you wrong, and then move down here? So we don't know how much upside is left just yet. And Bitcoin nearly always does the thing that screws over the most amount of people. So, so it's up to you, mate, whether you wait for 32,500 or 32. Or get in now. If it was me, just because I'm a trader, I'd much rather pay that price. So, yeah.